what is the quickest way to make money? First, we need to find something to sell that people actually want. Now in 2015 and 16, my mentor, David Fry, got me into the world of online coaching. And now come to think about it, I was sleeping a lot more than I was working. I don't care what my video editor puts on this video, I wasn't really sleeping. I was working for free like slave labor. The online space is broken down into 3 different categories: health, wealth, and relationships. Since I had no wealth and my girlfriend broke up with me because I dropped out of university, I only went with the last one that was on the table, so I stuck with health. Now at that time, David Fry showed me the world of low ticket sales in the fitness world. While he meant well, this was probably the worst advice and strategy that I could have had in the beginning of starting a business. I had no experience, no cash, and I had no following. Most people think selling low ticket is much easier than high ticket, but it couldn't be any further from the truth. Think about it this way. If you're trying to get someone to buy something from your website without a phone call, that means you have to know how to build funnels, how to make emails, how to run ads possibly, how to set up tracking, and there's a whole long list of other techniques and skills that you're gonna have to learn. And to be frank, that's just the tip of the iceberg. When I first tried to start selling low ticket products, I would post a link in my IG bio, put it on Facebook, and hope that someone would click that link and buy. But the truth of the matter is that without a really large following, unless you're Kim Kardashian or P. Diddy, hopefully not him, or Donald Trump, it's really hard to sell things. And sure, I would get a few clients here and there and a couple $100s, but the reality of it was that at the end of the month with an extra couple $100s in cash, it wasn't enough to pay more of my bills or really to change my life. I did this for 2 years. I made a grand total of, drumroll please, $2,000. That is enough for a nice bathroom in Miami, maybe a porta potty. Now, the good news is I was gaining financial skill and knowledge, but the bad news was that I still wasn't making any money. Fast forward until I figured out about high ticket coaching, and that's when everything skyrocketed. Turns out, once you find something that people want to buy, you sell it for more than it costs you to make, and then you rinse and repeat that over and over again, and suddenly you'll be rich. It's like magic. But if I'm being honest, in the beginning, high ticket coaching wasn't all roses and daisies to begin with either. After I made a few sales and I scrounged up enough money to move out of my parents' house, I quickly realized that to keep my momentum going and to keep my business scaling, I was gonna have to learn paid ads and fast. To be quite honest with you guys, I thought I'd be sitting back like this, relaxing in my chair, watching the money flow into my bank account, but that's just not exactly how it works. Turns out without proper follow-up processes or automations to continue to nurture your leads, that your webinar might as well be for nothing. I kept trying to change my ads. I would redo my webinar numerous times. I'd hire different business consulting companies, but nothing ever seemed to work. After spending tens of thousands of dollars with little to no results, I was just about prepared to go back to engineering school and finish getting my degree. I know it sounds fucking depressing. As a last-ditch attempt out of anger, I single-handedly went through all my leads and manually messaged each and every one of them to try to get them on a 60-minute sales call. The crazy thing is, when I was 22 years old, I told my mentor. When I was 22, I was sitting in David Fry's office, who Russell knows personally, they're good friends. And I said, hey, I'm gonna be a millionaire by 27. Hard work pays off, but you have to have the right processes. I continued this lead gen process until I couldn't take on another single client. In high ticket businesses, you'll typically max out around 20 to 30 clients if you're doing one-on-one fulfillment. And so maxing out means you literally cannot scale anymore unless you outsource that fulfillment. So to solve this problem, I hired my brother as my first coach. Once Benson was in, he took on all the fitness clients where he would customize their nutrition, customize their training, and be their one-to-one point of contact for any type of support. That allowed me to turn my full attention back to sales and marketing so that we could scale to over $50,000 a month. At this point, it felt like I was printing money and I was scaling at a really fast pace. After that, I just turned up the heat with more ads, hired on a couple of new setters to take over 100% of my messaging protocol, and then I turned my full focus to only closing deals over the phone. From here, I just kept doing the same boring stuff day after day. And a lot of people will try to convince you that it gets more complex as you scale, but in reality, it's just doing the same stuff over and over and over again.